You biodegradable cigarette paper will biodegrade within just 1 week, leaving no sign of that cigarette butt ever thrown on the ground. I mean, let's face it, who here wants to go around one by one collecting cigarette butts, helping our environment? Help me with my product save the lives of thousands of fish, birds, whales, and other marine animals, and help make the environment we live in a bit cleaner. As for manufacturers, they'll know they're helping to kill us, but at the same time, they're also helping our environment. Thank you.
The biodegradable paper, does that address the entire problem, or is also the waste, the tobacco that's hanging around, the filters that are hanging around? Does this address all three of those, or is the paper the only problem? I just don't know.
Well, I mean, right now, as for the idea, was mainly the paper itself, which I'm pretty sure is a better solution. As for having to wait 10 years for that cigarette, to disappear. And I'm pretty sure all you guys have seen them everywhere. So, as further testing goes on as well, I'm pretty sure we'll find better methods, better alternatives to having that degradable time, I guess, decrease.
Yeah, I really like the idea. I mean, cigarette butts is the #1 litter in the entire world. I think over 1 billion are thrown away every day. I think that what you should really concentrate on in this is the filter itself. Because the filter is made out of fiberglass, and that's what persists the most in the environment, and I've pulled them out of animals myself. So if you could find something or companies that will offer a version of their cigarettes that's 100% biodegradable, I think you would find a lot of sales there with that.
I assume that the market for this product would be the companies that already sell cigarettes.
That's correct. Thank you, mate.
No, it's okay. I know you said that. I just want to make sure because I think my worry is that those companies don't care about the environment as much as they should, or our bodies as much as they should. And I worry, how do you think you would sell that to them in a way that would make them money, in a way that would be,
Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I still haven't done research into it, but like I said, there has to be a better alternative, and, who's to say that there's probably a cheaper alternative for them? Maybe even having to pay just a little bit more, but at least they'll know, they're helping, we're already letting them pretty much kill us with smoking them. So, at least they'll know they're helping our environment, just a tad bit.
I think if you can convince them that it's good for them, that that type of good press is a good thing, then I think we're going to go, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think you've got to incentivize the people that are going to buy this product, either the companies or the users. Because the companies and smokers are not exactly the most concerned about the environment, their goals, much less the environmental side. But it's a tough challenge,
Hi, my name is Jose Barbosa, and I'm an international business major here at SEG.
Hi, and I'm Greg Fisk, and I'm a finance major here at SEG.
And we are a sponsor. How many of you have had a friend transfer to another college because they couldn't afford tuition anymore?
Or do you know of any graduates who are stuck underneath mountains of debt and getting their wages garnished?
See, here at Sponsor, we're trying to put a stop to student loan debt.
According to the ASA, roughly 37 million students have debt. This equates to roughly $1 trillion of unpaid student loans. This is affecting our economy and the future of our students.
Now, here at Sponsor, we have a solution. What we want to create is a network that connects a student with financial needs and a sponsor. A sponsor being an individual or a firm willing to pay off the student's tuition. Now, why would anyone want to be a sponsor?
Simple. We at Sponsor are creating a mutually beneficial relationship between the students and the sponsors. The students have access to financial aid, which they didn't have before, and the sponsors have good PR because they have the chance to positively affect the outcome of someone's life. And they also have a chance to have this charitable donation to help for tax write-off purposes later on in the year. We are attempting to put a Band-Aid on the student debt epidemic. We are
Sponsoring the future.
That's a good idea. I actually, at my ad agency, we have a scholarship that we provide to the digital arts program here. And in exchange for that scholarship, the value we get out of it is we also offer an internship for that student at our place of work. So we actually get labor in exchange for that money, but we also get a write-off because it's a donation to the university. And in addition to that, the student not only gets the scholarship, but also gets resume experience for the internship. So I think there's a lot of companies out there that could do something like that, that probably aren't. If there was some sort of an organization that was trying to make those connections more possible. I had a connection because I went here, and I know people here, obviously, but if there was an organization that was doing that and putting those connections together, I think that has great legs, because I'm already doing it.
There's someone who's doing that, and he's very frustrated in that he can't get other companies to do it. And Gary, if it's appropriate, I'd be happy to introduce these gentlemen to, it's Harris Rosen, who does that for the entire community of Tangelo Park in Orlando. And it works brilliantly. I was just with him last night. So it's a brilliant idea, and I really think that the problem of student debt is probably the most significant tragedy of your generation.
Yeah, I've heard of this being done in law companies where if you're doing pro bono work after 5 or 10 years, all of your student debt can be wiped clean. That's actually a government program, I believe. And so I'm wondering how you go about expanding the idea to every company. How are you going to work with companies to make that a viable option for them, other than the fact that obviously they're getting tax credits and possible labor?
Yeah, I think the labor niche is something that's definitely what you want to go for. I mean, after all, our demographic of 18 to 22 or 24 is the most sought-after demographic that there is. So particularly people who may have firms that deal with marketing and advertising can gain a lot in exchange for helping these students out.
I also think that for the students, it's helpful for them as well, because there's a lot of times when, because my brother, for example, he graduated with a political science degree, and he now works in a bank. He had a huge learning curve because he had no idea what he wanted to do, but if he had access to this type of program, then if he was doing the labor intern for the sponsorship, then if he was interning at your company, then he already has 2 years of experience working with you before he's out of school, so he's already ready to jump straight in to getting work done.
Great. Hi, my name is Michelle, and I am a senior studying behavioral economics. My startup, Inroads to Home Health, is a healthcare agency focused on cultural competency. As a third culture kid, I know I'm eventually going to have to face a problem that every migrant faces. What do we do when our parents get older? Should we quit our jobs to take care of them? Should we pay someone to sit with them for hours? Or should they move back to our home country where we see them only once or twice a year? I know that even though I love my family, the 3-hour drive to go see them is kind of a pain in the butt. And I can't even imagine what this choice looks like when I have a career, I live out of state, or even if I have a family of my own. Inroads to Home Health hopes to make this choice a little easier by pairing clients with home aides who are fluent in a particular culture. Clients feel more at ease spending time with someone who speaks the same language and can cook food that reminds them of home. And in turn, we create this value of having people who are more comfortable with the home aides who are with them for the majority of their time. Ultimately, Inroads to Home Health hopes to solve an age-old problem. How do we make healthcare meaningful and accessible? Together, let's pave a road into a new culture of healthcare. Thank you.
I think that's a wonderful idea. My worry, and I've done a little bit of work with mostly for people with disabilities. But what I find is that it's hard to find good home aids of any type, and so to narrow it down to, I need people who speak this language, or I need people with this cultural background, I worry that it's going to be hard to find enough people to make that solution workable, to find 10 people of a certain cultural background that meet all the requirements that you're looking for in a really, really good home aid. Of any type, I think that it might be narrowing it down a little too much.
Absolutely, and I understand that there's a limit to the number of people I could recruit, but our healthcare agency will also provide the training. So it might not just have to be a background itself, but as long as they can speak the language and meet those minimum cultural requirements, then that would be adequate.
And I guess I think it's a great idea if you can put it into practice and maybe to market to new home aids under specific categories, it might alleviate that concern.
So what services would you provide? Is it healthcare, is it companionship, what is it? And by the way, the fact that I have a 22-year-old daughter, the fact that you view a 3-hour trip as a pain in the butt depresses the heck out of me. But,
It's not even a long distance, I have to totally understand.
what would be the services?
Right, and the services would range from the healthcare agencies that I'm familiar with provide home care and companionship, so things like bathing and cooking, all the way to providing a nurse who hits all of the homes and administers their medicine.
And so maybe to try to solve the problem that he suggested here, maybe it's a team. And so one person who is more of the cultural background and language background provides the companionship part, but the actual health services are provided by the best health service professional who is then paired up for those services, so that they work in tandem.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jasmine Copeland. I'm a business administration student here at Stetson University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Omar Ruhi. I'm an MIS major at Stetson University.
International students oftentimes have a hard time developing and adapting to their new country or school.
Understanding a language of a foreign country is a big challenge for the international students.
So we have a product that's going to change the way that these international students experience their new countries and school settings.
Translate is a device that allows people to record any language and then translate it to their native language.
So take, for example, you have an international student who's in a class and they can't really understand what the professor is saying, so they become frustrated or they just kind of give up. So this therefore has the effect on their grades.
This is where Translate comes in at. Students can record the professor's speech and then translate it to their native language.
So colleges and universities can benefit from this because it has the potential to lower the dropout ratio that they're experiencing.
This device is intended, but not limited to the international students.
So take, for example, people who like to travel, go around, see the world, things like that, they can also use this device because they can allow them to translate the different languages according to whatever country they're in, and you can go into their native language.
We believe this device is helpful to many people, and we encourage you to give Translate a try.
Thank you very much.
So I was one of the worst Spanish speakers ever, I think, and I decided to go to Spain for a semester. And I remember a couple stories specifically where I couldn't find a stamp because they sell them at a tobacco store, and I was always going to the post office, and they would tell me, go to the tobacco store, and I'd say, I don't need a cigarette. So I really understood what you guys were saying from a need perspective. I even acted out like a 4-year-old in class at one point, yelled at my teacher and stormed out because I didn't understand what was going on. until I made Spanish friends and I really went out to the bars drinking and learned the language. But besides that, I guess what I'm saying is I totally see the need for that and how wonderful that would have been if I had something like that so that I wouldn't have gotten a little bit behind in the beginning or been so frustrated or gone through such a severe culture shock at the university there. So good job on the idea.
I think that's a heck of an idea. We were talking about whether we thought that existed already, which means it's a great idea, which shows you how wonderful an idea is. If it doesn't exist, then it needs to exist 2 years ago. My only question was, and you said it's directed towards international students, whether here or abroad. Can you see it also being directed towards deaf individuals?
Yes.
People with intellectual disabilities as well as learning disabilities, people with dyslexia, things like that, where you might be able to, if not translate, at least make it a learning tool.
Yes.
Use it as a learning tool.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, we're definitely going to see a trend of our devices kind of overtaking the skills that we would otherwise have to learn. Considering that some things like this already exist, I think that one of the problems of them getting to market is that a lot of times the coding and the computerization of everything behind this is a multi-million-dollar undertaking. Being able to have the recognition of the speaker and the translation. So have you thought about maybe making this a service to where maybe someone could email a recorded file and have a native speaker then translate it and email it back to them?
We didn't really think of anything to that sort of extent, but I mean, it's possible it could. We were just really thinking about something that you can have with you at all times, you know, so right there, if you're like when you said you were in another country and you didn't understand what they were saying, so you could have recorded what the people in the shop were telling you and played it back in your language and like, oh my goodness, they're saying go to the tobacco shop or whatever like that. So, I mean, anything is possible. We do plan on expanding, so it was just something that we came up with. Yeah, and it really relates to Omar because he is an international student and he does have a very hard time fitting in and understanding things, so this is really awesome.
Yeah, you may want to check out Google Glass does this. I was a beta tester for Google Glass, and when you hear people speaking other languages, it will give you subtitles. So it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jeremy Goldberg, a senior studying finance and statistics.
And I'm Scott Williams, a senior studying business management.
We're here to present Thought Crawler.
We were trying to figure out potential social problems and their solutions, but we're having difficulty.
Then it hit us. Are others having difficulty too?
What if there were other social entrepreneurs willing to maximize any idea we had, helping us solve our problems?
What if there was a platform of communication for international social knowledge centralized on one website?
Well, now there is. Thought Crawler. It's similar to a social networking site, but meant to connect social entrepreneurs who are looking for contributions to their ideas.
So, how exactly does it work? It's simple. You, the social entrepreneur, post your idea at the center of your personal page.
Then, other social entrepreneurs can add their ideas or contributions surrounding your initial idea, creating a map of suggestions.
From here, other members can then build upon each additional suggestion.
Thus, creating a larger train of thought than just yours alone.
With public input, the feedback is endless. And that's exactly what a social entrepreneur wants for their solutions.
Why rely on just a single perspective to solve a problem when there could be a global network of social entrepreneurs eager to help?
Prior to this website, help was difficult to find. Now, it's at the tips of your fingers.
And with Thought Crawler, social problems will be a thing of the past.
Thank you.
You guys probably saw me over here smiling and reacting. This is an awesome idea. I think I've actually, I wish I knew how to put this into is a real thing. I wish I could go to Mark Zuckerberg and get this done tomorrow. This is TED, but in using the internet, which brings us all together. Does everybody know what TED is? Okay. 5 years ago we did. Instead of 200 people getting together or 1,000 people getting together, you're talking about millions of people, all entrepreneurs getting together. And some of the greatest inventions in our history have been invented, not by inventing the wheel, but by taking something that was already a major product in another field and pushing it to a new field. So you guys that's a great idea. If there's a way to implement that, it's a $1 billion idea, I think.
Yeah, phenomenal idea. I mean, I'm really into the sharing of social capital. The aspect is, one of the problems that stunts a lot of social networks from taking off is this critical mass of the fact that you may have an initial rush of a few thousand people, but if activity isn't continuing to surge on the site, I'm just worried that your appeal of the site depends on the quality of people who are asking for help and the attraction that they pull to them, and then also what occurs from those ideas. I mean, someone could essentially just go on here and troll this website and wind up creating businesses and patent things.
That is a great idea, and I think there were 2 points there that we can address. First, even if we just get an influx of a couple thousand users using this website, that would still be beneficial for the social aspect of entrepreneurs, which is exactly what our main goal is. Second, when it comes to the actual content of the website, to use the website, you would have to have a membership. So you can have a free membership or a premium membership. But with that membership, to use it, there's the terms and agreement section, which states in there that all the stuff on the website, the person who posts it, it's technically their intellectual property. So they do have the right to that knowledge. So other members can contribute to it, but nothing can legally be stolen from them.
Right, and then anyone that contributes to your idea, whatever they put is tagged along with their membership, their ID.
So that was going to be one of my questions, was the intellectual property piece. But the second question I have is really based around whether or not this site leads to action. So I know that it's a lot of ideas, and I'm overwhelmed with the amount of ideas I have already, and I can't do them all because I just have too many and not enough time in the day. So how does this site really help push into action rather than just for the ideas themselves?
Oh, I mean, in addition to bringing people together, and the hopes is that people will have enough drive and motivation to want to take their ideas, especially if they have something really great and enacted. But as Jeremy said, we would offer a premium membership, and this premium membership would essentially put you in contact with venture capitalists, people that are willing to, I guess, put the capital forward, because that's usually a big issue, I think, with some people's ideas, is they don't know the next steps to get it going. In addition, similar to how Facebook operates with its ads, the ads would be like stuff related, like businesses related to social entrepreneurship. They would offer, like people that would offer services or products to help them get their idea going as well.
One of the most intriguing things about what you're talking about is most businesses, and certainly internet-based businesses, have to reach a certain level of scalability. They have to be huge before they have an impact. If you have 500 people that effectively use this, you can change the world. So yours is something that if it's a cottage industry, it's successful. If it's huge, it's successful. So kudos.
Thank you.
One last announcement from me. We are going to have door prizes, and actually they're pretty nice. Subway, Little Caesars, Dunkin' Donuts. Bowling. So we go out to kind of determine who wins. While we're out there, you get prizes. I don't get them, I'm not here. Okay?
Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Flint and I'm studying Business Administration.
And I'm Eddie Scrutis, majoring in accounting.
And we've created Wood for the Good. Eddie, you want to start with some trivia?
Sure, Rachel. Did you know that an estimated 200 million shipping pallets are disposed of every single year?
That's a lot, Eddie.
Sure is, Rachel. And I calculated that it takes every 3 days a forested area the size of Stetson University is cut down just to supply this unnecessary waste of perfectly good wood.
Wow. Well, did you know that if we piled up all those pallets on the Stetson campus, we could create an even layer 15 stories high across the entire ground?
That's incredible, Rachel. So what are you going to do to solve this issue?
It's pretty simple, Eddie. We'll start a company that gathers the pallets process the wood into workable pieces, and resell it at an affordable price.
You have no idea how many times I wanted to build something. The materials are just too darn expensive.
Exactly. And think about all the folks in Florida that are boarding up their windows during storms. Pretty sure they'll appreciate the break in cost.
Not to mention all the other businesses and individuals out there who love cheap stuff.
You got that right, Andy.
So what are we waiting for?
Wood for the good.
The perfect alternative for pallet disposal.
Another very good idea. I was looking at the originality of the idea, and it strikes me that it's a great idea that has been done in different types of recycling, over and over. It's been useful, and it has made a big difference in the world. So I think you guys are on the right track for sure.
Once you figure it out, you can come to our warehouse in Stanford because we have tons of pallets from our shipping stuff that we do at our warehouse. We don't know what to do with them once they break down. We build our own there because it's cheaper than to buy pallets.
Let me actually ask a question. How would this be different than any other recycling plant?
My mom works at a warehouse, and the way it works right now, especially with pallets, is that you need to pay a guy to come pick it up, just like a small mom and pop business, to come pick up the pallet and they go return it to a pallet building company. The way that this would work differently is that you don't have to worry about actually getting the pallets back to the companies that produce the pallets. We just tear them down and resell them as lumber. So it can be used in many different applications, such as in the nonprofit realm, we can do artists, you can donate to colleges.
It could be for anybody. It could be for a homeowner who's working on a project. It could be for a university, the facility staff. It's really anybody who wants to create a cheap wood.
I would bet Habitat for Humanity would love to that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's perfectly good wood. Most of the time, she lives on a lot of acreage, and they've got pallets just sitting out there for months and months, and the wood doesn't rot. It's perfectly good hardwood a lot of times, the right standard length. So a standard piece of wood that each pallet has about 10 or 15 of these individual, perfectly sized pieces of wood. It usually sells for $3 a piece. Being that it's used, it can be sold at half the price or quarter the price, and we can still make money if we get the pallets for free.
But also the big thing too, though, is that it's not good in the dumps. It's creating a big problem in the sense that it's blocking that land that we do need. And so it's unnecessary. We can absolutely use it. It's great material.
Yeah, I didn't know if you had it in mind for considering this as a social problem, whether or not you wanted this to be a for-profit or a non-profit. But if you go the for-profit route, I think that this is a wonderful for-profit arm that can team up with a lot of different non-profits. I run an NGO that does work around the world, and pallet wood is definitely something that we look for very often.
Very good, Max. Thank you. It's the last one. Hi.
Hi, my name is Catherine Thurfield. I'm a junior here at Stetson University, and if you're like me, you've noticed that there are two vulnerable populations that could truly benefit from being in conversation with one another. DeLand, the Athens of Florida, has an overwhelming number of elderly people who are not engaged with our community. Stetson University, a rising number of students who do not have mentors and are dropping out within their freshman year. My program, it's as simple as lunch, will facilitate conversations between these two vulnerable populations. This benefits both four different parties. First, the students, who will then have mentors and guides to life's challenges. Second, the elderly population, who will have an outlet to share their generational knowledge and feel valued in the community. Third, the parents of the students, who will feel reassured that their children will be doing well in school. And And fourth, the university, who will retain students and thus revenue. So really, it's as simple as lunch.
My first thought is that the students who typically are dropping out, and maybe it depends on the reason,